Okay, hi again. This is another Endgame video. I'm just going to show this position, and okay, the first thing you can think to yourselves is what should the result of this position be? Is it winning for black, which I'd hope you'd realise that it's not. As white's just white's a whole bishop up in this position. More importantly, can white win this position, or is it a draw? It's not too hard. I'm not trying to trick you anyway. If you don't know how to, the widest would be a draw. So that's the answer. This position is a draw. With black to move, I'll show you why it is a draw. Because you may be thinking, oh, but white's the whole bishop up, and what's he going to do? He's going to take that black's pawn. He's going to queen his pawn, get a queen, and checkmate him. That's not the case, unfortunately. So say if the king starts moving. The idea for black is to put his king on this corner, because if you have a dark square bishop, so white has a dark square bishop, and his pawn's also trying to go in this way, then he can't win this. However, if the bishop was on a light square, this would be winning for white, since he'd be able to force the king off this A8 square, as you'll see in a minute why that's so important. So say if the king start coming back, black doesn't really care. He just wants to stick his king in the corner. Doesn't care about his pawn being lost. He's going to lose it anyway. Eventually, he's going to get himself into swang. So king comes to b8. King comes here. King. Okay, so he's got himself in the corner, and he can take a pawn. So now he just goes backwards. This is what black does now. He just goes backwards and forwards and between these two squares. Okay, so white can try all day trying to win this position, but as long as black keeps doing this, white cannot win. I mean, he can put his bishop up here, but this doesn't help, because any bishop move this is just stalemate. Pawn move just stalemate. Okay, so if he puts his bishop back and plays like this, and then plays a check, so if king here, then white can queen and wins. But if he goes back here, then this is going to be stalemate once again. So, okay, and if you play a check, if he puts the king back in the corner, stalemate. Okay, so you see now that why the bishop, the coloured squares, are so important, because if this bishop had been a light square bishop, so say it was here, then black would be in check, and so you'd force the king onto the b8 square, and then you could push the pawn. For example, if I show you a new position, but stick the bishop here instead. Okay, so now black's in check, so you eventually gets position, played a check, king comes here, now you played a check again with the pawn. You notice now the king can't go back in the corner because of the bishop. So the king has to come here, and now you can promote to a queen, and yeah, you should know how to checkmate here, so it's very easy to do. So okay, so in this video I just showed that it's very important which coloured square the bishop is on, with the promotion of the pawn it's trying to promote. I'll show you another endgame. Okay, so we have a pawn on c2 and a king on c. Okay, king here and king here. Stick it to move 1. Okay. Right, so what should the result of this position be? Okay, so for white to try win this, he's got to make sure he gets the opposition. The opposition, for those who don't know, is when you if you ever get a king and pawn endgame like this, you always want to bring your kings out as far as possible straight away. And you want to start being able to get the opposition. So say if king went here, go king here, now you've got the opposition, because you've played the move into the king, basically, opposing the opposite opponent's king, and now he's going to have to move aside or backwards. If he moves backwards, you still get the opposition. So if it goes this way, you get the opposition again. Okay, so now if he moves to the side, there's no point going there, because then he's just going to get back. He's going to get back. You're not getting anywhere. Okay, once he gets to the side, you put your king the other side. King this way, king this way. So now your pawn can start coming through. king here, king here, king here, king here. So now you've got king here, king here. You start marching pawn up, play the king here, stopping the king going here. You even play pawn here, exalt king here, king here. If he was to play king here, king here, now king d7, and then the pawn promotes. For example, bang, 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 queen. Okay, so that's just that's the opposition. So yes, you see this. Okay, so a better attempt for black to try to defend this is just to stay away from the king, within range from the king. As soon as he comes here, the king can then move forward and he opposes him. Where you, okay, his opposition is where the kings are one square apart. So black just wants to stay 2 squares apart. So okay, king. If now white plays king here, then black can play king here. Okay, so black still wants to stay around here. Even after king here, then because of the pawn, white can play like this. And once again, white's actually gained the snapshot position from black since the king. But it's now black's turn, and he has to move. You can't pass it. So king would have to move. Say if he goes to the side again, we go to this side, and the pawn comes through. Okay, so this is pretty simple stuff. King back, king here. Get the opposition again, and the pawn comes in to promote. Okay. So with this is very hard for black to actually to stop with the when it starts positions like this, because the pawn is so far away. The closer the pawn is, as soon as the pawn is on e6 on c6. So say we had the position like okay, so say the pawn's here and the king's up here, and it's okay. So this white's move here. Okay, so this is drawn because the pawn is too far forward. The king hasn't managed to get the opposition of the black king and force him to one side. So here you'll see that okay, this white's move he can go this way or this way. Going backwards isn't going to help him. So say if he goes this way, then black's just going to mimic his move, like mirror it. Now black gets the opposition. And the king here, there's king here, getting this opposition again. If your king just puts back in the only place that the king move, he's good back here. Once again, you'll see he goes back here. Any pawn push doesn't work, it's king here. And obviously king here is just stalemate. And any other king move loses the pawn, and obviously you can't win with a king against king. That is a draw. So yeah, when the pawn's already on the 6th rank, this is a draw. Yes, this should be a draw under the correct circumstances. So because white can't actually make any progress here, as you just keep opposing his king. Say in this position you went the other way, then black loses because now king can go here, stops the king from going back this way. So king moves here, and now the pawn goes through and promotes. So say if king here, then you can just get queen, because obviously king can't take because king's defending. So white will go on to win this position. Okay, so this is a draw when the pawn's this far up the board. Okay, another thing I wanted to show you was this position. King's here, the king's here, and the pawns are like this. So kings can be like here and here, I guess. Onto like this. Okay, so so it's white to move in this position and win. I'm going to go through it with you. If you want to try work it out for yourself, then do go ahead and pause the video. Okay, so the way the white wins this position is he plays the only move here, which is pawn to to b6. Okay, so if some of you might be wondering, okay, what happens if the kings come across? If the king comes across, his king comes across, getting the opposition. And this doesn't help white at all, since he can't play his king in here and try to take all the pawns, since the king's defending it. And you know, after king here, it's king here, and this is a draw. Okay, so the reason the kings are so far away is it's, you know, sort of gives you a hint that it's down to the pawns here. There's a breaking of the pawns, so you can sort of just go through them one by one. Okay, so if I play this move, what's going to happen? If he takes, it just looks like a draw. I can't get through there. If he takes and I play this, then he looks like he's... Okay, if he takes this way, then I can win. Okay, if he takes this way, I'm stuck, I can't get anywhere. Okay, he takes back, and black's winning now. Okay, so same happens with this pawn move. This pawn push, you can just take, pushes another pawn, and this is just, there's no way for the pawns just opposing, and yeah, white, no one can win that position, it's a draw. Okay, so the way white wins this is he plays b6. Okay, so now the threat is that, okay, he's going to take a pawn and queen. This pawn can't move, and the king's not going to be able. The king's not going to move, obviously, because he's going to take one of these pawns. So black's got two options here. He has got more options, but okay, so this one we can cancel out because we just take this and queen. This one we can cancel out as well because he takes it and queens. So black must take this pawn on b6. Both ways lose for black. I'll show you. So say if c takes b6 first, then the key idea in this position, once again, if you want to try, if you didn't get it before, and you want to try work it out from here, then yeah, do go ahead and pause the video. Okay, so black. So the way white wins this is plays pawn here. Okay, so now we're threatening to take and go and get a queen. So takes here is not going to work. So it takes. His pawn's way too slow. This is going to get queen and checkmate. So he has to take, and now he can push this pawn, and now he can't stop us getting queen. Okay, so he can push this pawn. We push. He pushes. We get queen, and that is checkmate. Even if it wasn't checkmate, even if he pushed this pawn, we can then play our queen here or something and just gobble up all the pawns. Okay, and then, okay, so a6 wins for white. The same happens, it's just like sort of symmetrical. If he plays this way, we want to do the same thing. We want to release this pawn now. We played pawn here, attacking, threatening to take this pawn. So here now has to take, and now we play push the pawn on, and once again, white wins. Okay, so that's from this starting position. So white wins by playing b6, and after takes, you just play the idea of you give up the two pawns to get the queen. Okay, you'll notice this position won't work. It works in this when the pawns are on these ranks, which is very likely to get in a game. Okay, if you got your pawns, all the white pawns are back here, but it's still white to move. So obviously, if the pawns are here and black's pawns were here, then you know, black would be playing for the win if it was his move. Okay, in this position, we'll see that it doesn't quite work here. Cause, okay, we played this, but now after white's got too far a distance to go here. So what black should take into account is which queening square would he like? This one or this one? This one's obviously better because when he queens here, he's going to get a check, which could be critical. Okay, so to do that, he wants to force. Okay, so to do that, he wants to play this way. He takes this way and pawn here, and he takes and pawn here. I mean, this is still probably winning for black, but this is better. He takes this way, pawn here. The same idea from white, but now it's just loses. So white's pawn's too slow. It's a check, and you know, just go gobble up the pawn. So This also actually loses even though black takes the other way. White's pawn is still too slow. Queen, and then take the pawn. Okay, so in this position, if you're white here and it's actually on move, black's going to try play this himself. If it's white's move though, you probably want to start bringing your king back as quickly as possible. If black does the same, then it's going to end up with a position where both your kings are here and it's going to be a draw. Okay, black tries doing this now, then the correct way for white to try defend against this, I mean I'm just playing this on the spot, I don't actually know what a result would be here. From my point of view, I think that you want to allow the black pawn to come down this way to try queen, as your king will be closer and should be able to capture than the other one. Although the king is outside the box. No, but king's inside the box. Sorry. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so we want to take this way. Because now it's pawn here, take pawn here. White is now actually winning position because the king just about makes it in time to get rid of black's pawn, and then he's going to win with these pawns. Okay, the mistake would be to take this way, because now this pawn comes through, and after we take, this pawn manages to make it. Right. Yeah, by quite a big distance as well. Okay, so you see the importance of just calculating there. Not that this pawn actually wins. The A takes B4 actually just loses. Okay, so these positions, I mean, they're not that big a problem to get worried about. You could get it in a game. It's pretty unlikely. It's more you might get you stand a better chance of getting a position where both these pawns are off, 2 pawns, but then obviously you can't break through here. After the pawn move, after this just blocks it up, or you can even just take, and if he tries to just take back, takes, and this is also just blocked. You need the extra pawn to make a breakthrough, which is unlikely to happen, as you'll see. Like say in Sicilian defence, if you know what that is, we'll get e4, c5. White normally plays with d4 later on, and pawn c takes d4. So there's quite a lot of lines where the c pawn just goes off very early on in the opening. So hence why this is very likely to get 3 pawns set on the exact same squares in the end game. But it's quite a fun puzzle to do anyway. Okay, something else I want to show you quickly. This is completely winning. Say the king was here. White's king's only here. Okay, so say we have this position, but obviously that's a draw at the moment, so we'll use some pawns on there. So okay, that's what the pawns here and here. Okay, so you might think, oh no, maybe this looks like a draw because let's put the pawns. Put it 1 there. Okay. Okay, you might say, oh, some of you might think, okay, this is just a draw because the king's too far away, and after king here, he's going to take, and after I go king here, he's going to take my other pawn, and this is a draw. Okay, so simple, it's quite easy endgame stuff. This is obviously 1 pawn. If the A pawn wasn't here, then this would just be a draw. Likewise, if the B pawn wasn't here, it'd be a draw as well. There's a way for white just to play this, that after king here, white can just play a3, protecting the pawn, and then keep bringing now king here. And now, okay, so after the king comes here, white can actually start pushing his pawn, as black won't be able to catch the pawn. And now queens. Okay, and if he goes the other way, so he goes king here, just keep bringing king in, and now goes this way, still just keep bringing the king over. And once again, black has to go back, because if he takes this pawn, once again, white or queen. So yeah, this is very common, this tactic. It's completely lost for black. eventually just bring the king over. I'll show you how quick, very quickly. Oops, let's get king here. Start pushing the pawns down the board. Get the opposition. Obviously this would be stalemate, so don't make that mistake. Let's push this pawn. You can push this pawn, suck that one, but get a queen. Where you're going to checkmate very quickly. So I'll just show you actually a nice checkmate technique. Obviously this will be checkmate straight away. There's a nice little idea. When you get a queen, normally, say the king's here, so normally you get a king here, and it's white's move, but you play queen b3, so stopping king coming to this square, running away, so just makes it a lot quicker, so the king has to come back this way, and then there's a nice flashy sort of mate of queen a4, or you can just mate queen b6, which is slightly less impressive, but I guess it doesn't matter. Okay, so so there's two pawns. When you've got two connected passed pawns with nothing opposing them, and just king pawn endgame, they are completely winning, as the black king can't ever take them as long as they're protecting each other. So that's why it's important to have connected passed pawns. So what I mean by connected passed pawns is, if we just clear the board again, so these two are connected passed pawns. They're passed pawns because they've got no pawns opposing them, and they're both connected because they're next to each other. The pawns here, for example, these are actually both now isolated pawns, as there's no other pawn that can protect it. So here the pawns can protect each other, so when this moves here, this protects it, when this moves here, this protects it, and so on. They can protect each other. Whereas if they're here, they can't, this pawn's not protecting that pawn, if this one moves, that's not protecting that one. So it's pretty basic. Okay, so that's all I'm going to show you for now. It's pawn and king endgames. So there's a couple of easy things to learn there, and making sure you get through all the basics so you can improve your endgame. Okay, thanks, bye.